Hey guys, it's Liz of Consumed by Books, and I'm here to do a quick February rewind for you. I know this is a little bit late, but March got off to kind of a busy start for me. I'll talk more about that in a later video. Let's start with what I read. Or, yeah, you know what I mean. Anyways, my first book of the month was The Evolution of Mara Dyer. This is by Michelle Hodkin. You guys probably saw me mention this in my January rewind / February TBR. I did finish it after rereading, not reweeding, The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. I'm kind of torn on this. I'm on the fence, but I would probably say that it gets a thumbs down. I don't know. I like Hodkin's writing a little better, but I honestly thought that this book was too long and that there was just too much in it. I am more curious to see how this series wraps up though, because she started to give more hints as to what was actually going on. So I'll read the last book, but I still don't think I'll really enjoy it. I'm not sure. The next book I read I don't have to show you because it was from the library, but that was Diary of a Wimpy Kid by Jeff Kinney. That one gets a big thumbs up. Diary of a Wimpy Kid is about a young boy, I want to say his name is Greg, who just starts middle school, and about how he's dealing with that. Greg is a pretty average kid, so he gets okay grades, tries to flirt, doesn't really succeed, and he's good at drawing. Sorry about my phone and iPad going off. Phone's not even in the same room, it's just really loud. But it was a really enjoyable story and a really realistic portrayal of middle schoolers. So that one definitely gets a big thumbs up. Next up, I have Soulless by Gail Carriger. This is the first book in the Parasol Protectorate series, and it gets a big thumbs up. Not Terabody. Carriger really tried to stick with the kind of the Victorian style in this one, but it also has its humorous moments and definitely its steamy moments. So I really enjoyed this one, and I'm looking forward to reviewing it on the blog. The next book I read, and I was really excited to finally read this one, especially since it won a Prince Honor, was Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wein. This is set during World War II, and it is a bit about a pilot whose, it's about a pilot whose plane goes down, and she's with her best friend when it happens. So when she crashes, she doesn't know what happens to her best friend, but she is captured and questioned by the Nazis. So you find out how their story unfolds. It's a really fast-paced, enjoyable read. It does kind of take like 150 pages to get into, and it's really brilliant by the time you get to the end. So I would give it a thumbs up, but I think some people are going to have a hard time with this one, though it is a worthy read. The next book I read was called Precious Bones, and I forget who wrote that one, but that was also from the library. I would have to say that that one probably gets a thumbs down. I didn't really enjoy it. I felt that there were a lot of stereotypes about certain regions and races and social classes, so I wasn't really all that impressed by that. The story was decent, but I don't know, it's just nothing really extraordinary, I would say. So, kind of sad that I didn't like that one more, but it happens. And then I had yet another library book for my third book, and that was The Secret of the Fortune Wookiee by Tom Engelberger. It is the third book in the Origami Yoda series. This is probably my least favorite of the three so far, but it still gets a thumbs up. So I'm curious to see where the series goes next, because it did take kind of an interesting turn. Now, my last two books were actually both e-galleys, so I don't really have either of those to show you. But they were Nobody by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. That one does get a thumbs down, unfortunately. I was not a big fan of the premise of the story. I just didn't think that there was the right amount of explanation to go along with it. It kind of seemed like there was a really quick explanation and then a lot of talk about it, and I don't know, I just never really bought it, if that makes sense. And then I didn't like the character relationships in the story. I think that they were supposed to be a really critical component, and for me, I felt that they were kind of thrown together too quickly and not fleshed out really nicely. So that was unfortunate. I'll review that one on the blog soon. And then the last book I read in full in February was This Is What Happy Looks Like by Jennifer E. Smith. I downloaded that one as soon as I got it on my iPad. It gets a thumbs up. I did have a few problems with it though, partially because it was set in Maine, and that's, you know, it's kind of unfair for the poor book because I have been to Maine almost every summer of my life because my mother grew up there. So if you don't represent Maine in a certain way in your book, then I'm not gonna be happy. Like, Jennifer Smith had something in there that was just wrong. It was wrong. I'm sorry. And I'll talk about that in my review. And then I did get partway through 2 books in February. The first one was Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I started this one at the end of the month, and then I finished it in March, so you're going to have to wait to see what I thought. I know, cheesy. And as you guys know, I have been doing a Kristen Cashore read-along with Fire. So I think that we're supposed to be finishing this book pretty quickly here. So I got a little bit farther through it, and I should be finishing it in March. So be excited and on the lookout for my thoughts on it. I haven't actually reviewed Graceling yet, but I will soon. So that's what I read in February. I want to know about what you guys read. Leave links to your reviews or video wrap-ups in the comments, and I will see you next time. Happy reading!